Hey, how y'all doing on today? Yes. I had another Saturday dream. You know, I told y'all about those Saturday dreams, but I was just speaking to you all, and I'm just going to try to jump into this vision that I had dealing with this kangaroo. Yes, I never had a kangaroo dream, but I didn't like it. I didn't like this one at all. Um, Yeah, so I had texted. Normally when I wake up, most of the time you see me in the bed, I speak my visions right then. But this time, I text the whole vision to my mama. So when I woke up and I had saw all this stuff, I just texted everything to my mama, and I just at the end of the text, I was just like, I'm sending you a text from this vision. I don't want to forget. So, don't take. I'm not looking for a response. I'm just trying to record this vision. So that's why I had text my mom. And so I'm going to have to read this vision to you all. So I'm gonna read the vision, and then I'm just gonna give you like my interpretation on the back end. And yes, it's been a long week, because you saw with the other videos how I was talking about my head from my kids. My head finally stopped hurting, but it just stopped hurting. I got a little relief yesterday, so I've been on bed rest from a migraine from what had happened earlier this week. So I'm still not feeling my best, but I'm finna try to push through this dream, because I got to try to go and get this out. Try to go and get it out. So yeah, I'm trying to think like, why I ain't just record in the bed. I thought I was gonna forget it, because my memory, like, it's so much going on. And then because I'm dealing with low blood pressure, and it causes lightheaded and dizziness. And then I'm dealing with anemia, and that affect, lightheaded and dizziness. So my train of thought is extremely short. Like, anything throw off my train of thought. Like, the smallest thing throw off everything. And so I was just like, just trying to text, because I had the words in my mind. So I just kind of like texted to my mama. I saw a little video with this huge spider in a car with a car full of girls. I'm looking behind me like, what is that? But so yeah, so I'm finna read this dream to you all, and it's dealing with this kangaroo. And then I'm just going to just kind of give my interpretation on the back end. Dog, it just seems like I ain't into it. Like, I want to be like enthused, like, ooh, hey, y'all. And I'm just trying to put through, y'all, today. I'm just trying to push through. I'm okay, because the pressure and stuff from my head then went away. But I ain't just like my old self. I'm not. Yeah, these attacks, especially with trying to get these visions and dreams out, it's been a lot. I go through a lot trying to get this stuff out. It be mental attacks, like with the memory loss and just all kind of stuff, y'all. I ain't even finna speak on that. I was talking to this lady, I work with. I was just talking to her about, I just had a long week, and I just been on bed rest the whole week. And I don't try to put like energy into, like Satan. I don't try to put no energy into him. And my friend, she was just like, well, who busier than Satan, don't it? God. Ain't nobody busier than God. So I'm putting it out there for somebody. Ain't nobody busier than God now. He'll just inconvenience. Satan, he'll just like create inconveniences. Like, it'll just be just inconvenient. But let me push through this stream for y'all. So basically, I texted, said, I dreamed I was riding past Lamar and Shelby Drive, but the traffic light was out. I eventually eased past the light to cross, because nobody knew the light was out. Everybody's light was malfunctioning, but I kind of saw it was a light issue and slowly crossed. So basically, I'm at like Shelby Drive and Lamar. And then as I'm going to Shelby Drive and Lamar, you know how normally like all the lights be out, so you're like aware that it's like a four-way stop, or it's like a malfunction, or you see the red light blink, so like it's an issue. I didn't know what the issue was, but I knew it was an issue because nobody was going. So as I like kind of lean up, I see that, all the lights are at a red. Like, every single light was a red light. So that's why nobody was going. So I was like, it's a malfunction. So when I noticed that it was a malfunction, I just kind of like real slow across that Lamar and Shelby Drive. I just kind of bogarted my car through the traffic because of the issue that it was. But just pulling up on the scene, you couldn't tell And I kind of had to like lean and pull up to try to see what the issue was. I'm like, why ain't nobody moving? Because our lights is red. So you know how you just like sitting at a red light, you just thinking your light finna turn green. It never turned green. So everybody just sitting at the light expecting it to like turn green, but it never turned green because the light malfunctioned. So that was the first thing that happened. So I slowly crossed. As I ride down, I see that there's an ambulance. And it's not a person that's holding the traffic, but it's this kangaroo. So I don't know if even if the ambulance flipped over or was on its side, and the kangaroo in the vision, it never was on 2 feet. It kind of was just like on the ground. So I noticed that, you know, it's this kangaroo. So I'm slowly driving through traffic, and I see the ambulance is trying to catch this kangaroo, but the kangaroo not on 2 feet. It's not walking upright. They got the ambulance bed to put the kangaroo in it, but they having a hard time getting it on the bed. So that's what basically happened. So I'm like in this traffic at Lamar Shelby Drive. I see it's a malfunction of the light, so I kind of ease my way through it. Then after I ease my way through, I noticed that, you know, it's an ambulance in front of me, and this ambulance is trying to capture this kangaroo, and it's just causing, you know, just a lot of problems in traffic. So next, the dream jump, and I'm in a building, and some animal in a kangaroo, and I don't know if it was an animal like a goat, sheep, or ram, but it was a couple of those, and we was hiding so the animals wouldn't notice us. So the dream jumped. So the dream went from me being on Shelby Drive, Lamar, to me being like in a hospital setting. It looked like a hospital. So we in this hospital setting, and it's a couple of animals in this vision. Like I see the kangaroo, but I couldn't tell what the other animal was, because like when you dealing with like a sheep or a goat or a ram, and they real young, because they ain't fully developed, you can't really tell. Like you can't really tell what animal it is unless you zoom in. So I didn't notice that it was like maybe 2 animals or something just like walking along the hallway. And then I noticed that it was this kangaroo too. So that's what's going on now. I said it's like the street. Yeah, because I'm reading this. Next to green jumping, I'm in a building, and some animal, a kangaroo, and I don't know if the other animal was a goat, sheep, or ram, but it was a couple of animals, and we was hiding. It was just like a whole group of people was just hiding, so we just didn't want to deal with the animals that just like in this building, and we was and it was like the street, but we was in the building hospital trying to slowly walk through. I was walking past, and I noticed the staff was having issues catching the animals again, especially that kangaroo. So I don't know if anyone else noticed the animals, but I was just trying to maneuver and strategically walk past. During this time, you know, I noticed that the staff is trying to do the kangaroo. It's just like what I had just seen with the man on the ambulance trying to get this kangaroo on the bed. So I'm looking, I see the staff in the hospital, they trying to get this kangaroo and just kind of restrain it or whatever. And the kangaroo weren't acting wild or nothing. It was just like causing like distress. Like it was just causing like distress and just an inconvenience all the way around. So while I'm like trying to walk past, you know, just to get to where I need to go in this vision, a man had noticed me and he was trying to stop me. So he kept like calling my name. He was like, Sheena, you know, he kept trying to get my attention, but my attention was on trying to maneuver around this kangaroo. They're just causing a headache. Causing headache and trouble for everybody. So I finally stopped, and he was describing someone else to bring remembrance. And I don't know if I asked the man he spoke on, I was like, well, did he die? So I don't know who this man, and that's significant, but my mind can't zoom in on that. It was too specific, and with everything going on, I just don't even know the conversation. But this conversation was very significant. So in the dream, this man, he stopping me, and when he finally stopped me, he started like describing somebody. So in the process of him describing somebody, I kind of was like, well, did he die? And he was just trying to get my attention, but I was just busy watching the animals, hoping the animals wouldn't get wild in the building. So that's what was going on. So like in the middle of me just kind of maneuvering, it was just this man, and he was just like trying to get my attention. And in the dream, I was just like, well, didn't he die? You know, I said something to them. You know how like sometimes somebody from the past, you just don't really know what's going on, what's not going on. I really didn't even know the man, and I don't even remember if I even knew who he was talking about. So next, the third part, my mom popped up in the same building, and it's kind of like hospital, and it's this kangaroo, and we just trying to get past this kangaroo, and we eventually get past. But when I was with my mom, it became comical at this point. Like, we just like tripping, like we just like, it was just like the funniest thing ever. And we was laughing about this kangaroo in the hospital and how it was kind of holding everybody hostage. And then I just kind of woke up from that dream. So basically that's the dream right there. I'm finna try to break down what I said, because as it was coming to me, I was just texting it to my mama. So I'm gonna have to kind of like stroll through the text messages to see what I was saying, dealing with it. But that was the dream right there. So the last part of the dream, it was my mama. And it was like, because, like with my mama, I kind of was putting her up on everything, because I had been dealing with this kangaroo the other two visions. So by the time she popped me dream, I'm just putting her up on what's going on. I'm like, yeah, it's this kangaroo, and you're gonna have to kind of be careful with how you maneuvering around it. Like, I was just putting her up on what's going on right now. That's how I was doing. So, because I had already dealt with it, so I already knew. So I'm just like, look, you're gonna have to be strategic with trying to maneuver around this thing, because this thing is a problem all the way around. So that's what was kind of going on at the end of the dream. So basically, let me see what I was saying. Yeah. It was like the kangaroo, it was just like causing this huge disruption. And nobody was equipped. Let me see what I said. I said nobody was equipped to handle none of the animals, especially that kangaroo in the dream. But it was funny. Like, the dream was funny. But it wasn't nothing funny about what was going on. It was funny in a twisted, demented way. Like, it was like, because it was like when I had woke up from that dream, it was like, you know how you be like super high? It was like a spirit, like I had smoked a blunt or something. I was laughing so hard. Like, I was with my mom in the dream, and I was just like, in the dream we were laughing, but when I actually woke up, I'm in the bed rolling over. Like, it wasn't even like normal. Like, the laughter wasn't even normal. So so I was just like tickled. Like, I couldn't stop laughing, but it wasn't no good laugh. It wasn't laughing in a good way. Like, all the stuff was going on. It was so silly. It was so silly. Like, the mockery of everything had everything appearing like it was like super silly, but it was like in a very, it was in a bad way. And I was just like kind of telling my mama, I was like, dog, we was even laughing in the dream. And then my mama, she had kind of texted me, and she was talking about Kangaroo Court, and she was just talking about Shayna, that kangaroo, and dealing with that Kangaroo Court ain't no joke. It ain't nothing for you to, and the irony of it, because God, he deal with irony. It's like a joke. He coming in a joke form, but ain't nothing funny about what's coming. But everybody laughing, So let me see what it say. So when I tell my mama, I said the mockery of our system is not funny when it deal with the livelihood of real people. So that's one thing I just said to her. Because I had to like randomly just like text myself this stuff, because of everything I was going with the headaches and stuff. My daughter waking me up, just other little stuff going on. I wasn't going to remember nothing. So the only way I would remember is just texting randomly, instead of just doing the vision as soon as I woke up. I also said in the dream, I had to move and maneuver around that kangaroo. I had to be extremely strategic when dealing with it. And then I also said that in that dream that happened on Lamar and Shelby Drive, that's where I had a car accident in. So I had a car accident. I'm just sitting at the light minding my business. This in real life. Somebody hit somebody that hit me. So I'm just sitting at the light minding my business. I'm part of a three-car accident, because somebody rammed it to somebody, then that person that rammed it to me. So that really did happen. But when it happened, I had to end up just throwing the case away, because it was going to be too much for me to push that case. Like, it was just going to be so much of an inconvenience for me to push the case, because the person didn't have no insurance. So I just had to just do away with the whole case, and then, let me see. For me, it would have been just challenging to pursue the case. I don't, and that's why I was just like kind of telling my mom, I was like, Shelby Drive Lamar. I said, I had an accident on Shelby Drive Lamar. So that's where the vision is at, Shelby Drive Lamar, the courts. the court system. And basically, when I had this accident, and this in real life, when I had this accident, basically, that cars was totaled out. Like, that car was totaled out. It was like around the time with COVID. Somebody just hit me. I just got out of work. I got out of work at 6 o'clock. The police didn't get to the scene till like 10 because of COVID, and they was understaffed. So we waiting in the cold, like it's freezing outside, for the police to pull up to just do the report for this accident. And we just sitting there waiting in the freezer cold, and they didn't get there till like 3-4 hours later. And when I looked at my car, I had no damage. So when I looked, because it's freezing outside, we outside for 3-4 hours. So I'm looking at my car, I see I ain't got no damage. So I was like, well, let me just go and go home, you know, let me just go and go home. But when I looked, the 2 cars behind me, they was totaled out. They were totaled out, but I had no damage to my car. So when I noticed the damage to my car, I was like, dog, I got to stay on the scene. I got to stay on the scene, you know. And a lot of problems, you know, I feel like a lot of little stuff been going on with me too, like with my dizziness and the stiffness in my neck came from the accident, because the impact, like that impact of that accident totaled out those 2 vehicles. Even though I had no damage, my body felt the impact of those cars slamming into me through my back. So because of that, yeah, so I've been dealing with just a lot all the way around. So, and that's in real life I deal with that. So I just had to just kind of write that off. I had to write it off. I was like, I can't even do nothing with it right here. I don't even want to put time and energy to this. This just a loss. I just got to take that L on it right there. So that's how I was. You know, it was just going to be a headache to just go through all this. You know, let me see what I said. So like I said, the police finally show up. They show up 3-4 hours later. This is my real accident down here on Chevy Drive, Lamar. And when they looked, they was just in shock. Like, nobody could understand how my truck had no damage. And these other 2 cars, they got 2 tow trucks, and they cars tow up, like tow all the way up. And I didn't even know it was that bad till I looked at their vehicles. Like, I'm just getting out, it's like freezing. So I'm like, dog, I just want to get home. And then, you know, I look, and I'm getting ready to go, because I just look behind my vehicle. I didn't even look at the other 2. I just look behind my vehicle. I ain't see no damage on my rear end. So I was just like, oh, okay, it's just like a fender bender. And when I actually ended up looking at it, that cars was totaled out. I was like, dog, I got to stay on the scene. So I had to stay on the scene till I got out of work. I'm at work all night. So when I get off work, it's like, hey.
You seen it?
Yeah, I'm almost through though.
Okay, go on.
That's my 20-year-old. I'm using her phone to read these messages. I'm gonna have to give me another device, y'all. Yeah, but so that's what was going on. So I'm getting off work. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just trying to get home. I get rear-ended by 2 other cars. And so by this time, at a stoplight. And so at this point right here, you know, we had to wait till like 10 o'clock in the morning. So you get out of work 6 o'clock, then you just up for a whole 4 hours in the freezing. So that's what was going on. So it was just like, woo. And I just knew it was just in my best interest, just not to even just deal with it right there. So then I just said, it was chaotic. Nobody was equipped to handle that kangaroo, which made it even more chaotic. So it got to the point that it really was a joke. At the end of the dream, me and my mama, you know, I just told her we was laughing so hard because it was so unrealistic that it actually became funny. Like, it was funny, but it wasn't unfunny. If y'all can understand that. I said, we was like, how can this kangaroo cause so much distress? Like, it was just causing so much distress. Like, it wasn't like violent or nothing like that, but it just like inconvenient. It was just like distressful. It was just like a headache. You know, my dream baking in the water, headache and trouble. That kangaroo didn't bring nothing but headache and trouble and a sick, twisted type of humor with it. So I said the kangaroo wasn't violent or anything. The problem was nobody was equipped to handle it. I said the problem of preparation made the kangaroo problematic. Because like even when they were trying to put it on the hospital bed, it was like wasn't nobody equipped to even deal with the kangaroo. But everybody trying to deal with it, and it's getting to the point where it's actually becoming comical. Like, it's just funny, you know. And I was just saying that I was wrong. I was the victim in the accident. I'm talking about the real accident I was in. I said, but still the wrong end up prevailing. Like, even though I'm sitting at the light minding my business, I get rear-ended. It's nothing I can do legally. It's nothing I can do. no insurance, and it would be a headache to just push and pursue that. So I was just like, I don't even got time for this right here. That was my mind. That was my mindset. Let me see what else I said. So I said it became comical by the end of the dream. Me and my mom, we was laughing so hard. Like I couldn't stop laughing. When I was in the bed, it was just like I had smoked a blunt. That's just how it was. It was like on there, like it was just like a goofy, silly, you can't even stop yourself from laughing type of thing that was going on. And but it wasn't nothing funny, especially when it was concerning our lives. Like we just trying to maneuver around this, like. And when I think about that kangaroo, you know how they talk about like monkeys, and you think of monkeys as being real mischievous and just getting into stuff and just like, just all the stuff that's associated with like the illusion of just the animal, like the monkey, they be like stay in trouble and just that's kind of the vibe I was getting from this kangaroo. So basically I just told my mama what is right will be wrong and what is wrong will be right. And it go back to what I was saying about the mock court. And I'm gonna read the mock court on the back end, but I'm just telling you it's like the way our judicial system and the way our system set up, and you think, ooh, the truth shall prevail, it's twisted and perverted. So the truth not gonna prevail. You know how you think, ooh, I got the truth, so I'm gonna be compensated. Ooh, I just been the righteous self. Like we gonna be the way the system of the world, not God, but the system of this world, this government, is not about righteous prevailing. The wrong gonna prevail. It's like that. It's like a twist to it. So with our whole judicial system, and I just told her because I had already dealt with the kangaroo early in the vision, I already knew what to expect. So when my mom actually popped in the dream, I was putting her. I just said I was putting you up on everything, and I'm talking to my mama going on with this kangaroo and telling you about the problem at hand. Also Kangaroo Court. And I'm just saying Kangaroo Court because like earlier this week I went and I supposed to have been starting at a second job, but when I went to start at this job, HR didn't roll over none of my information, so they was like basically telling me that, well, you're gonna have to reapply and just go through this whole process. It's like an inconvenience all the way around. And I was just like, I told my mama it's that kangaroo spirit. Like it's just like a lot of inconvenience all the way around. Like it's not necessarily like violent or nothing, but it's going to be an inconvenience. It's gonna be a waste of your time, and it's gonna be an inconvenience all the way around dealing with this kangaroo spirit. So I'm just calling it a kangaroo spirit because that's what I saw, and it was like mischievous. It was kind of like mischievous, like how you think monkeys, how they be grabbing, running stuff, just stay in trouble all the time. That's kind of how this spirit was. But the thing about this spirit is, everything was a joke in a sick way. Everything was a joke in a sick way. So and when I went to reapply, that happened for real. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm like, it just been so much going on, but I saw that kangaroo spirit. And I be like, it's that kangaroo spirit, like, it's funny, but it ain't funny. And then I said, that mischievous kangaroo causing confusion and disrupting everything, trying to disrupt everything. And then I just told my mama we was able to maneuver around this kangaroo spirit. And how it was just doing what it was doing. And then I just said, I was just talking about us as a nation, like it's like a joke and funny, like, ooh, but ain't nothing really funny. Ain't nothing funny about what's going on, but everybody laughing at us. Everybody, and I'm talking about our enemies. When I say that, like our nation, everybody's looking at us, laughing at us right now, but the joke is on us. Like the joke finna be on us, basically. Let me see if I can, because I'm probably not gonna be able to find what's going on with it, because it's in my phone, and I didn't send it to I don't think I sent it to my daughter, but I was gonna read about the Kangaroo Court, and it's basically like, when the justice system, like we go to this system of law and we expect them to like make decisions based on our life, on what's best for us and what's righteous, and the truth shall prevail. But the way our system is set up in this kangaroo spirit, the truth is not gonna prevail. It's gonna be a twist to it. So you'll think like, oh, I'm going to court, oh, everything gonna work in my favor, and That ain't gonna be the case when you dealing with this kangaroo spirit. Because the kangaroo spirit is a mock of the court. So what's supposed to be right is gonna be wrong, and what's supposed to be wrong gonna be right. And guess what? It's gonna be directly impacting people's lives. Like this twisted mockery of our court system, it's going to be like having huge effects on people's lives. So it ain't just like, oh, okay, it's just a twist. It's like if you get stuck in the system and you got to deal with something and then stuff don't work out in your favor, you're going to see firsthand the joke on me, but ain't nothing funny. So basically, I saw that like that. And then also with the hospital, I kind of got the idea, and I'm just speculating right here about like me seeing the kangaroo in the hospital, like them forcing you to get all these shots, all these medicines and stuff, even if it ain't safe. Normally you would think like, oh, it's safe, so let us get it, let our government, roll this out to the people. But me seeing the kangaroo in the hospital was representative of the twist and demented, the twisted, court, which is like, you normally would go to the hospital, you normally would do vaccines, you would trust the government to say this is safe, take it. But they're going to be telling you to take it knowing it ain't safe. Basically, that's what I'm getting out of this. So that's why I was in the hospital sitting with this same kangaroo. So it's going to be stuff going on with the medicines and these vaccines that they are fully aware that ain't healthy, ain't safe, but they're going to be forcing all this stuff. And it's just like, it's just going to cause, like, you going to see, because it's going to directly impact your personal life. Like, you're going to be walking around, and even though, like, you'll think it's funny, but when you walking through all this stuff and you going through, because you're going to be, it's going to impact all of us. This kangaroo spirit, it impacted me. So I already know firsthand what I'm dealing with, and I already know firsthand ain't nothing fun about what's going on. But as a nation, now it's going to be individual in our lives, but also as a nation, the same mockery of our system and stuff is going to be going on. And we putting so much trust and faith in a perverted government, in a twisted government. So yeah, I'm finna get ready to let y'all go. I just spoke on the vision. Some might come a little later. I might be able to do a recap on this kangaroo dream, but I just had to get this vision out. This was a Saturday dream. I dreamed this yesterday. So I just had to go and get this video out. And yeah, that's just what I saw. So you just gotta be real strategic out here, like even out here in the streets. Be real careful, because I told you I had that car accident and it was a kangaroo. So out here in the streets, like I've been telling my older daughter, to be careful out here driving around, because this kangaroo spirit, I don't want you to have no accident or nothing. Just be careful out here, y'all, in the streets. Because I done dealt with this kangaroo spirit firsthand in the streets. So it's something dealing with the traffic and stuff too. So y'all just be careful out here from these accidents, and just all the way around. So I'm just speaking the dream, speaking what I saw. I ain't speaking nothing negative in no situation. I'm just letting you know what my spiritual eyes see, what's going on. So just kind of put y'all up on what's going on. Get your water. Be careful in these streets, driving around. Pray for protection, because this kangaroo is going to be a headache and trouble all the way around. And ain't nothing going to be funny when the mockery of your livelihood and your truth and your righteousness is twisted and perverted. Ain't nothing funny about it. So y'all, I'll talk to y'all later.